Okay, hello, welcome back. This is movie 2. I have finished putting in all the text, so it says all the words. There's a couple of neat things that I want to show you about the orientation of the world within After Effects. One of the things I do want to share with you is that when you're transporting or transitioning between the V key and the C key to go to the orbit tool, the middle mouse button, you don't have to hold the spacebar down if you want to move the hand around like this, which I am holding the spacebar down. You can hold the middle mouse button down and it'll do the same thing. It's trying to mimic the key clicks in an animation program. But what I really wanted to show you was the fact that not only do I have, and I'm going to try to pivot and orbit around as best I can, but you see where I left off where I said hi there ... this is how you, I put another word in there called you. Now look at how I'm going around to the back of the object, okay, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to show you this is how, let's go here, this is how you use the, and then I took Sure Target and I went like that with it across the back wall. Do you see it? Okay, now this is interesting because I want you to understand how intelligent this world is. Okay, let me zoom into the world to the word plug in and to, and let me go down to plug in and to because I want to show you something neat. I'm going to hit the A key for anchor point and the P key for position for the word plug in. Anchor point is always going to be correctly connected in an X, Y, and Z coordinate relationship, that's the word I was searching for, to the word plugin. In other words, X is always the first number and it's always the red symbol. Okay, so watch how I just move for anchor point for the word plugin, which by the way doesn't face the front anymore, it faces to the left. Watch how I move the X coordinate. It moves along to the left and right. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to Z back. I'm going to move the Z coordinate. Well, the Z coordinate brings you front and back as relation to the word itself, not to the world that is After Effects. And here's what I mean by that. I'm going to Z back. I'm going to go down to what you would think would be a position change, which is the red arrow on the word plugin. And I'm going to go grab the first number down here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to grab this first number and I'm going to move it. But watch how it isn't going to move along the blue Z coordinate. It's actually moving, get a load of this, not front and back, but left and right according to the front view. Does that make sense to you? I'm going to Z back. Now let me go to the Z coordinate, which should be depth. But watch how it's going to move my left and right word as far as the word plugin is concerned, but not as far as the After Effects world is. I am indeed moving the word plugin along a depth coordinate as far as the front of the world in relationship to the camera, to the main camera of After Effects, or just to the front of After Effects. If I'm saying that correct, I'm trying to. It can be confusing. Now, if I were to pivot around to the front of it, then both the anchor point for the word hi and the position for the word hi will have the same relationship. X will move left and right, Z will move back and front. But if I go backwards and I go to this word on the right-hand side, the same thing will apply. The word this, the anchor point and its relationship to the position of X, Y, and Z has changed. So if that is understood, don't be confused when you go around to move your words. If when you think you're moving it front and back, you're actually moving it left and right, it's because you rotated it and you changed its relationship to After Effects' world, which is always, if I turn it back this way and I go to a front view, there's the front view. So X is left and right, and then the depth coordinate would take you farther away in going backwards to the word hi and then closer to you to get the word hi to come towards the camera. So I know I'm harping on that, but whatever. I just wanted you to hear that. Now, the next stage of this is that we have to, and we can now, we're done. I am done setting up my word. You can see I've rotated it around all four walls. I've had my fun with it, and I'm good to go. Now, I can do two things immediately. I can either turn off the camera or just delete the camera that you see in front of you. Boom, I've just deleted it. Now I'm back to just a regular active camera or a front view. Okay, so I'm going to hit the V key so I can get out of this view. Now I'm going to go backwards, and I'm going to go, and I don't care how much of this word is cropped off, just please understand I don't care. I'm going back to the composition settings, and I'm going to now change 2000 back to 960 because I'm ready to set up the null object. And I don't even care in this window of 960 by 540, I don't care how to the left of center I am. It makes no difference to me because the camera, when I make a sure target camera, is always going to obey the center of the screen because I'm going to tell it to obey the center of the screen. So I may have to make a quick third movie because I want to do a few words and then set up my targets in the right way. So what I'm going to do is I am going to leave target 1 as a blank. I'm actually going to when my movie opens up, I want the sure target to zero in on a black area of the screen. So I'm going to use my first target as a null object. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to make a null object, which is just going to be, I'm going to call it target 1. So I'm going to just put it in here. And right there, you see on the screen there, it's a null object. I'm going to hit the return key, and whoops, I just hit the return key to enter the layer. Let me click down on the timeline and hit the return key and call it null for begin. So it's going to begin my whole concept. So it's my null begin. Now where am I going to put it? Well, I'm going to hit the A for anchor point, and I'm going to move the anchor point of the null object, which is over here in the center of the screen, and I'm going to move its anchor point, and you can see the little circle that I have right where I'm pointing. I'm going to put that directly into the center. So let me move down on the y-axis. Whoops, that's the X still. And let me, I have to turn on the 3D box. Sorry, I should have done that. And now I'm going to move it down so it's 99,000,000% in the center. Now what I'm going to do is position this null object, so I hit the Shift P key, or I just move it along with the V key, and I can move this over and put it up like this. Look at how I'm putting it over to the left of the word high, but I want it to kind of center itself right in the word. So let me zoom in, and now let's go like that. Okay, I'm within reason of the position of the word high, and I'm going to move it off to the left. I think it moved down. Let me move it off to the left. Okay, there we go. Now let me save the file. Now I am going to make another null object, which is going this null object here. I'm going to move it down here and have it be the one layer above the word high. So my camera, the target for the camera, is going to start at layer 2. Then, if you follow what I'm saying, it's going to go to layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, layer 6, layer 7, layer 8, and so on, so that it can target all the words in order. First things first. Let's start at the home key, and let me show the word, and I've already set my markers. Now click up at the top of the whole thing and make a new null object. Now this null object is again, I'm going to reset. It started way over here. I'm going to snap it into the very first part of my little assignment here. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to reset its anchor point. So I'm going to hit A for anchor point, and in this case I could just use the pan behind tool if I want to. Either one is fine with me. I'll zoom in and I'll click A for anchor point, and you can see that the anchor point is right over here. I would like to move it down and over, so I am going to use the manual way to do it. After I turn on the 3D box, we are going to go to anchor point. Okay, I just couldn't find it for a second. And I'm going to move it over to right in the center there, and then I'm going to move it right down the y-axis to right so that that lines up nicely. You can see that that's right in the center of that. That's wonderful. Now, that's where the camera is going to focus. So the camera, which I'm going to now attach to the null object, is going to use the anchor point of the null object for its focal point. Got it? So let me hit Command S to save. Now, let's right-hand click, add an effect, which if you put it in there correctly in the After Effects plugins folder, should be all the way down to Video Copilot Sure Target. So that's where it's going to be, Video Copilot Sure Target. Now a Sure Target camera automatically comes in. Now it doesn't know where to focus. Okay, so my first target is going to be where this null object is, or layer number 4. So I am going to go before the word high, right about here if you're looking, right there. I don't care where it is over here. And I'm going to hit E for anchor point, E for effect. Now I have the Sure Target right there. I need to move this over because there's some settings I have to show you about, and I'm going to double click the Sure Target. You don't ever have to touch the camera. Just make sure your three-dimensional, your 3D box is on for the null object. And you don't have to rename it at all. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to open up the Sure Target, but I'm going to show you this RTF file. You need to have Auto Rotate on. So let's go find Auto Rotate and turn it on. Good. Let's now click, and this can change later, and I'll explain a little bit about this changing and why it's going to change. And some of you may have to turn these numbers down, and some of you won't. So I'm going to make the inertia and the decay for the Sure Target. So let's find it. So let's go to inertia, and let's go inertia at 5, and the inertial decay is already at 5. So now I'm hitting that. Okay, so let's go back here. Autofocus, focus targets on, depth of field on, and then 500 and 100 for aperture and for blur. So, excuse me, let's go to autofocus. We need to focus targets on, depth of field on, aperture and blur is, let me make sure again, 500 and 100%. So I am cool. Now, I have more, if you can see here, from layer 4 all the way to layer 17, 18, 19, I have more than 10 targets. So I'm going to go to target layers, which it gives you as a default of 10 targets. We're going to go to 25 targets. We're not going to use 25 targets. We're going to go to 25 targets. Now, we are going to set and find on here in Sure Target. I'm going to open it like that, close it first, toggle it, and now reopen it. Where do you set the targets is in the upper one that's called Sure Target that I'm highlighting. So the first target is going to be, and we have to tell this now, let's go up here and let's go back to our layers. Before we set any keys, let me close this thing here because it's getting in the way, and let me close Dolly, and I'll open Dolly in a few minutes because it's getting in the way. Okay, I want to go and set the target layers. So this is what I'm going to do. I know that, and I'm highlighting it for you, that my first layer is going to, my first target's going to be layer 4, and then so on all the way down to layer 19. So let's go back up. Let's double click the word Sure Target. Let's now tell that, let's tell the first target to be layer 4. So it's the null object. The target 2 is going to be number 5. Again, all the way down to, and this is, sometimes I get mixed up here, so I just want to make sure these numbers go in order. So the next one is going to be number 7, the next one is going to be number 8, and so on and so on and so on. So we have to go all the way down. Just be patient with me, please. To 10. Let's go to 11, because now we're telling our camera which targets we're going to have when we add the keyframes. So we go to 13. I'm trying to fill space with talk that won't destroy my brain. Let me go to 16, and now we only have 2 more to go. 17, see I can count. I told you I can count. 18, and then I'm going to double check that I didn't miss one, as goofy as that sounds. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4. Save the file. Thank you very much. Now, we should have the ability to set our first null object. Here is where we actually can dolly into the target. Now, I'm not going to dolly yet until I get to the word high. I'll show you what I mean. So, here is the word high. I'm going to move the audio layer above the Sure Target. There. Now, do you see how I can see everything and everything is in the right order, more or less? So I'm going to click the stopwatch for sure target, which automatically puts a number 1 right here where I'm circling. Number 1, if you look up there, is our 4th layer, which is called Null Begin. Let's move over to the word hi. It's time that Brian says the word hi. Let me kind of zoom in on the timeline here. And now I'm going to change number 1. I'm going to show you how to do something later, but I'm just going to set all the easy targets right now. So I'm going to change number 1 to what? To number 2. Now, you see how the word hi is more or less in the middle of the screen, or reasonably in the middle of the screen? Here is where we now have to set a couple new things. So I'm going to close this layer by hitting the E key. I'm now going to hit the U key, and now I can see my sure target targets. So the U just let me see what I needed to see. Now I'm going to hit Shift A for the null object, and I'm also going to open up the anchor point for the null object. Okay. I don't know why it did the rotations, because, well, yes I do, because the rotations had something to do with it. I shouldn't have said that. The rotations are automatic is what I should have told you, okay? Because you can see the expressions, they're pink, they've already been set. So now I have but you see, I have the first target set, which is the null begin, and the second target set, but hi is too far away from the camera. Good. I'm immediately going to go to Dolly. I'm going to enable Dolly. See how I just clicked that? And on the second target, look at this number. Since I enabled it, I'm going to dolly into the word hi. Now, I don't like where it is on the screen, so I am going to use the anchor point, and I am going to shift the anchor point and make this go a little higher than I want and a little over. So to put the word in the middle of the screen right here, I'm going to go to move it over up. I'm going to move the word up, the word hi up till it's nicely in the screen, and I'm going to move the word over with the x-axis. So I'm going to move it over. So now I have the word hi relatively, if I can put this into the fit category, I have the word hi. Where did it go? Where did you go? Okay, I must have I'm going to Command Z back so it comes back in the screen. I know what happened. I snapped it and it went to 400, so I'm just going to move it over slightly, which means it should go right here. Good. Now look what I'm going to do. I'm also going to set a keyframe for anchor point. So now I have positioned the word hi in the middle of the screen more or less. Now I am telling you that the dolly that I had for the null object probably should also be 900, so that the camera doesn't do what I'm doing here. See how I'm going back to where the first target is? See how far away it is? Well, if I want to take this from nothing and then zoom in and start right here, that's fine, but that's not what my intention was. My intention was to take this, and I'll go copy this 900, Command C, and paste it into the null object, Command V, and now I've almost got that as all black. I'll even dolly in a little bit more so that it kind of looks fuzzy, and it kind of comes in from a fuzzy point of view. Now look at how it's going to go right to the word hi. Now look here where I'm circling. Let's go over to the word there. The word there is target number 3. So look at how I'm going to go down here and show you that target number 3 is layer number 6. So all I have to do is take number 2 and turn it to number 3. Now there, because I've already changed the anchor point to position the word hi in the middle of the screen, it should pretty much be in the right place for most of the words. Okay, I'll have to make some simple keyframe additions if the word isn't where I want it. So here's what I'm going to do. 900 was my dolly for that one. Maybe I should just dolly into number 3 to 900. So let me hit Command V to paste. And now look at how there is in the middle of the screen. Now what if I wanted to dolly in just a touch more to the word there? Okay, I'm good. That's fine. Look at how it goes hi there. Now, do you guys see how it doesn't move across yet? Wait till I set the next target. If I wanted it to slide over so I could see the 3 dots, I'm going to show you how to change that. But here is the word there. Now let me go all the way over to the word this. And this is what I want to show you how you can make changes. This, if you look up here, it takes a minute. This is the next target. So it's number 4. See where I'm circling? Now all I have to do is take 3, hit the 4, hit the return key, and go to put 900 on the dolly, and I should be right on the money as far as having, I'll put 1,000 in, 900 might not be close enough. Now, I should have this on the screen right there, Command S to save. But now I'm going to manually scrub back between there, watch this, between there, and look at how it's turning, it's turning, it's turning, it's turning. I kind of don't like how that did what it's doing. I want to see the dots a little better. So watch how I cheat, please. Look where I am. Here is the 3rd target. I'm going to hit Command C to copy. First I'm going to go back to that one. Now I'm going to hit, for the anchor point, the middle AddRemove Keyframe button. So it memorized that anchor point right there. Now if you can understand this, cool. If not, play it again. I'm going to move between the word there and this, and I'm going to grab this keyframe, which is the target, and hit Command C and Command V. Now I'm back on the word there. So it's holding on the word there for a bit. But I want it to slide along this so I can get to where it's supposed to be along those dots. So all I have to do is grab the anchor point along the x-axis and look at how I can slide it over this way. Now look at how neat that is. And I don't even mind how that gets a slight bit out of focus. So here's what happens. It goes from the word high to the word there. Now it slides along the word there, and then suddenly now it turns. See how neat that is? And now the word there comes into view. I'm sorry, this. Now the problem is I don't like where the anchor point is. So I'm going to have to slide the anchor point for the word this back. So I'm going to have to take the x-axis and go over this way, and look at how I've now put that in the middle of the screen. So you keep on moving your anchor points of the null object so that you can play with where things are on the screen. Okay, the next one is the word is. Well, let's move over. Let's position this by the word is. Let's set the target to number 5. Now it switches to is, but you now know that I need to go up to here, which is Dolly 5, which is the word is, okay, and I'm going to put 1,000 in. Now what if I want is in your face? Then I'm going to zoom in closer. Well, that's just a little too close, Brian. Let's zoom back out. Let's see where that thing actually hits the camera. So I can't get any closer than approximately there. Okay, now let's click the AddRemove Keyframe button. So I just copy the anchor point over. I want to keep on copying the anchor points as I go through here. So now I go over to how. Let's now take number 5 and make it number 6. Let's save the file. Let's take 1120. I'm just going to put 1,000 in the next one for Dolly 6, 1,000. And let's see if I dolly into how I have it where I want it. And I'm happy with where it is on the screen, kind of. Maybe I'll take anchor point and just slide it over just ever so slightly back towards my left so it looks good. Okay, fine. Let's go over to the word you. See how easy this kind of can be? Let's now take the target for number 7. Now, what do I have to do here? Change the dolly to somewhere at 900 to 1,000. I'll put in 1,000. Now, you is right where I want it. Now, I like where the anchor point is, so I don't have to worry about this ever changing. I'm going to hit the AddRemove Keyframe button to memorize the anchor point and hit Command S to save the file. Now let's go over to the word use. Now the neat part here is that the whole screen is going to turn because use faces another direction, but the camera will follow it. So I'm going to put this in here at 8 for target 8, which by the way is, I'll go down all the way, target 8 is actually layer 12. I'm sorry, target 8 is layer 11, which is the word use. Let me go up here because I'm going to have to change my dolly in a minute. Okay. Now, let's put in the dolly for 1,000. Okay, use is right where it should be, and I'm going to hit the AddRemove Keyframe button for anchor point. Now let's go over to the word the. Now, you know that the target there should be number 9. Okay, switch is right there. You know that I should probably go put 1,000 in. Whoops, I missed. Okay, fine. 1,000 in for that one. There it is right there. That one, if I squint, needs to move a tiny bit over for whatever reason. I don't know. It's probably going to go by so fast on screen, nobody will care anyway. So let me just put it back a little bit like that. Let me save the file. You should save after every one. Let's go over to Sure Target. Now, Sure Target's just going to slide up. So let me go to 10. Okay, and again, let's go to 1,000. And that's gorgeous on screen. It probably could be just a touch or a tad back to the left. So let me move the anchor point back to the left. I always go the opposite way. And now let's go to target. So I'm going to save the file. Let's move the timeline to where my marker is for target. Let's now make this go to 11, which is the target keyframe. Let's put 1,000 in for dolly. And now I'm right where I should be. So I save the file, and now we go to the next target. So let's move this down. Let's go to plug in. And now, whoops, I didn't click the anchor point. I'm bad. So let's click the AddRemove Keyframe button for anchor point to memorize its place in the relationship of the coordinate world, whatever the heck I just meant. And let's go to 12. Now, in 12, we'll go up to 12 and put in 1,000. And I'm good. That is nice and clear. Everything's nice. And I'm going to hit the AddRemove Keyframe button. And now let's go over. I'm gonna just try to finish this to the best of my ability, and then I'm gonna ram it, and then I'm gonna be done with this movie. And I may come back with a third movie. I don't know yet. I might be done. I'm never done. But let's take 12 and go to 13. Okay, and let's put in 1,000 here. I might as well just put in 1,000 for all of these right now. So let me type that in. Okay, I'm gonna get this done. Let me go Command C. Let me dolly number 14. Let's dolly number 15 to 1,000. Let's dolly number 16 to 1,000. Dolly number 17. Dolly number 18. And dolly number 19. So I don't have to keep on changing those. I can always zoom out or zoom in a little bit more, right? Let's click away. Let's hit Command S to save. Fine. And now the next target, I better hit the AddRemove Keyframe button for 2. Let's go over to Animate. Okay. And now Animate gets number 14. It can be this quick. Now see, I needed to dolly out. What did I tell you? So 14 needed to dolly out a skosh and move over to the right. So let me, I always go the wrong way. Move over to the left, my other right. Oh, geez. Well, since I'm in the back, who cares? Let me hit Command S to save the file. Now let's move over. Here's Kinetic. So let's going to go number 15. Gosh, I'm almost there. And let's hit the return key. And now Kinetic needs to move the other way. So I'm going to move the anchor point over just the other way. See, I always move the wrong way. Command S to save. And now let's go to text. And here is text, is number 16. Okay, and that should be the last one. Now let's move number 16 over. I can't find my over. And now here is number 16. Let's put that right in the middle of the screen. And now what I should do is put another null object so I can take the camera away from here. Do you follow what I'm saying? What I could do is I could say, just for the heck of saying, that target 20, and I could set a target 20, is back to our first null object, which was that other layer, which was layer 4, which was the null begin. Why don't I do that? Let me just see how bad that's going to look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to nowhere. See what I mean by nowhere? This is after the word text has been spoken. See, I said that right. Let's set the next target for number 17, which is actually going to be hopefully I haven't made a mistake here. Oh yeah, I made too many of these. I didn't mean to go all the way down there. But let's go to, let's tell the target for 17 See, we stopped here. See, there is no 17. So if I go to target 17, you probably caught that. I made too many dollies, but who cares since I'm not using them. Let's go to tell 17 to also go back to the null begin. All right, now look what it does. It flies right to the null begin. Let me hit Command S to save the file, and let's ram this to see how good this looks. I don't know if it's going to ram and get all of it on the screen, but heck, we'll give it a good shot. Let me go to the B key. Let me back up here, and let's move over and see the beginning of this. Okay, now let me hit the ram button, and let's see if it works. And it could take a moment to ram, and I probably should have purged under Edit. Now what you're going to notice is it turns just nicely. Look at how it turns nicely. But when it goes in real time, I didn't like what just happened there. I'm going to have to fix the word target because it got out of, it's an easy fix. It got out of focus. But watch.
Hi there. This is how you use the Sure Target plugin to animate.
See, it was so fast that you don't even hardly notice it.
This is how you use the Sure Target plugin to animate kinetic text.
Now, I'm going to let you watch it for a second, and I'm going to turn it down.
This is how you use the Sure Target
I'm going to
plugin
duplicate this
animate
composition
kinetic
because I want you to see something.
Hi there.
And I
This
want to
is how you
hold
use the
on the
Sure Target
letters.
plugin to animate
I want to hold onto the letters a little longer. That only takes a copy and a paste. So if you have patience with me, I can do a quick copy of a paste.
This is how you use.
All right. So I'm going to not ruin this Start Comp 2014. I'm going to click back to the project window, and I'm going to click away from everything, and on the Start Comp, if I can find it, right there, I'm going to duplicate it because I want to go to the number 2 one, and I'm going to double click it because I don't want to mess up the first one, okay, if you understood what I said there. Now I'm going to go forward, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to start at the beginning, which meant I'm going to go backwards, not forwards. And I already am showing you how I'm holding on the word there. Now, one of the problems is that the anchor point for the word there maybe could be moved over a little closer. Let me get right on that anchor point. I went the wrong way. Okay, right there. I'm going to move the position of that anchor point and keep the dots more to the right, not to the left of the screen. So I'm going to move this back over this way. The more that I move it there, right now, you see how they're in focus? These dots are in focus because they're not too far from the left and the right of the camera. Okay, now I told you. If you get too far to the left and to the right of the camera, which is in the middle of the null, things are going to get slightly out of focus because we turned on depth of field. Now, I'm going to move and slide over to the word this. And I see that I don't have a lot of time here. Let me see if I can show you like where some of the words have a little bit more time than others. Look at how I have use the. Now, sure is way over here. I'm going to hold on the word the for a little bit. Now watch how cool I do this. I'm going to copy these 2 keyframes. These 2 keyframes are for the word the. Do you see them? Right as the, there's the 2 keyframes, Command C. I'm going to paste them right here, Command V. And now what happens, well, I didn't mean to make that happen, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back out. Now what happens is it holds on there a little bit longer. Now, this is where I get a little movement that I don't like. And that little movement is what I talked about getting rid of inertia. So if when you put this is not a real toggle hold keyframe, but if you put a hold keyframe on this like I've done, if I remove the inertia, and I have to go to this, go to inertia, and I have to make the inertia decay. It's either the inertia amount or the inertia decay. I have to see. Let me put it back on 1. Now I'm going to go back and forth. I put it on 1, and I'm going to slide back and forth on the word the. Let me move this down. And I'm going to see if it moves anymore. Okay, see how I stopped it from moving? So there is no more rocking motion for the word the. It goes from use to the, and then it holds on the. See how nice that is? And it goes right to sure. Now I can hold on sure for a second. So if I copy these 2 keyframes for sure and hit Command C, I'm going to move it over just before the word target and hit Command V. Now I'll copy the target ones, Command C, and I'll go not all the way over to the next word, which is plug-in, but kind of, and I'll hit Command V. Now let me save the file and re-ram it and see if it looks any better. So do you understand? I just copied and pasted the anchor point and the sure target targets, the keyframes. Those two, both keyframes for either word, and by pasting them a little bit away from where they were originally, where I say the word, it's going to hold on the word and you'll be able to read it a little better. So here's now, I'll turn on up my sound and you can see it, and I'm done with this movie now as soon as the RAM is finished. And I hope this movie isn't going to be too long. So please finish your words, and then if you need me, I'll show you. I should say this before it's done, and I might actually hit the space bar so we don't have to listen to Brian. But you see how you can see the blurred out ones in the background, and sometimes they get in the way?
This is how you use the Sure Target plugin to animate kinetic.
All right, now watch first how it holds on each one.
This is how you use the Sure Target.
See how it held on the, sure, and target? I think that was cool.
This is how you use the Sure Target
now watch
plugin
this.
to animate kinetic text.
Okay, see how kinetic text went off the screen real fast? I'm going to move to the background. I know I said I was done, but that's okay. I'm going to copy text, hit Command C, and I'm going to move right down. I'm going to move that one over, which was the null object, and I'm going to hit Command V to paste. And now I've held on the word text for quite a while. And I think that's neat, because wouldn't you want like it to linger in somebody's head? So now let's watch how this looks at the end. It shouldn't take long. Okay, here it comes.
Hi there. This is how you use the Sure Target plugin to animate kinetic text.
See how it held on text for a bit? All you got to do is copy and paste the keyframes, and I think that looks awesome. So if yours rock too much, take your inertia amount down to 1. But the last thing I'll say, take me 10 seconds. See when I'm on Kinetic how that word in the background right there is maybe getting in the way of you reading it? All you have to do is go back to each of your words, meaning watch my timeline. Go to each of your words if you're following where my red timeline marker is there, and whatever word that is, lower the opacity on it. But you're going to have to set keyframes so it has 100% opacity when the target needs it to be there, and then you can set a lower opacity so you don't lose it, but it goes back in opacity to kind of kill it. Let's just turn off, just for the heck of it, a couple of these and see which one that is. Let's see if it's the word plugin. No. Let's see if there. See how if I turn off plugin right there, I know that it's going to look better if that plugin word is lower in opacity. So I'm going to click plugin, click the T key, and I'm going to set a keyframe right now for 100, but I'm going to, let me zoom out. I'm going to move the 100 down, and then I'm going to lower down towards the beginning of the time, and I'm going to just see if I lower this to 50%, if that is a better look into the word kinetic than it was a minute ago. So let me zoom out and see if that's going to ruin anything, and I don't think it is, because I have it at 100% for most of the file, and then it goes down from 100 to 0%, and it lets the word kinetic read better. So I really wanted to say that on camera. Okay, I'll show you one more time, and then I will be done. And I want you to do this as many times as it takes, which, I mean, I actually did all of this on camera just about, so it won't take you that long if this ever gets done.
Hi there. This is how you use the Sure Target plugin to animate kinetic text.
See, kinetic read better because I had the Sure Target word, which was fuzzed out in the background, lowered in opacity. Take care.